So it looked like you were all getting it. That's excellent. We'll give it a try a little bit more in a few minutes. What I did want to go over a few more things, questions that were asked. So it's basically just a reiteration of some of that. There were a couple of muscle tests that I showed you. One was in front, and that one is a little bit more direct with the central vessel, so it really does give you a clearer connection with something that's going to affect the entire body system. Actually, I have only used that in the past, let's say a month, and the prior 24 years of doing this, I've been using this or lying down, having people on their back. So it really, in my opinion, does not matter. But if you start looking online and reading different instruction manuals about how to do it, you're going to find that everybody has their own opinion, and each school of thought has a different way of teaching it. Let's see. Why the belly button is that is your first mouth. So when you were in the womb, that is where you each got your nourishment through the blood that came through from your mother's body, that came through to feed your body. And so the nervous system is very much interconnected with the belly button. If you ever want to give your nervous system a little boost, then just massage your belly button. You can even go all the way around it, like going around a clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and you can take a few seconds, a minute or two, whatever, to stimulate each one, and that ends up stimulating each of the meridians of the body as well. So it's a wonderful way of centering. And the front and back, that's the front meridian and the back meridian being connected here. Then this is also kind of a front, back, up, down. Everybody, again, defines them slightly differently, but they're just different ways of making sure that the body is balanced and integrated. Let me think what other questions came up. In terms of the muscle test itself, it's practice, especially if you're working on other people, to get the timing down of how much pressure do you put on their arm. And it's a good idea to ask them to please hold, then you press, then you let go. So you hold, you press, you let go. Otherwise, they don't know when you're going to be putting that pressure on, and there might be wobbles that you're not sure if it's an unlock or a lock or an in-between. So what you're looking for is a clear lock and a clear unlock, and it's just practice how you come along in that process of you, the tester, and the person being tested. Also, people who want to have a specific answer come up, if you have been asking about do they respond well or not to coffee or chocolate or wheat products, or any of the things that often get us because this is emotional, this is issues that have to do with our everyday diet, then people can get pretty reactive about it, and they're just determined they're going to be strong. You can often see it in their face. The neck muscles will come out, or their jaws will clench, or you may also see that they're kind of leaning into it in order to recruit other muscles. Acknowledge it, be gentle about it, be loving and kind, and just say, okay, I think you're just trying a little too hard. Let's step back and just try to have it be a lock and an unlock. And it doesn't mean that you have to immediately today change your life. It's okay. You can just take it a step at a time. Start reducing the coffee. See how you feel. Blah 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 blah. So try different options. You had a question back there?
Yeah. Is it generally better when testing people to sort of keep them in the dark about what they're being tested for, to address that?
I personally don't. I like to have it be understood that this is what we are asking about. That's why I verbalize every question that I ask of a person. Because I think it's better to have two brains joined together to work together. Some people prefer to do it in the dark, so to speak, and that's really up to you. I had one client of many years, 15 years at least, who will sometimes call me up on the phone and say, hey, I want to get tested on this thing, but I'm not even going to tell you what it is. It's like, okay, so let's play games. However we need to do it to be able to get the information as clearly as possible, that's what we do. But again, for me, it's about communication, and so I like to verbalize it and have it be obvious. Yes?
Temporal tap.
Temporal tap. What about it?
How does that, it just came to me.
Okay, temporal taps are wonderful for inputting information. We'll use it a lot in the next class when we talk about emotional, mental, and spiritual issues. Today we're talking more about physical, chemical, and lifestyle issues. Okay? So temporal tap will be something that we'll use in that aspect. Thank you. Question? No?
So, I think we played around a little bit outside the parameters, so we can't really use this sort of as a bodily tarot, as it were.
Oh, you can use it as bodily tarot, as it were, yes. You can ask any question that you want to ask of the body on any level of your being. It really is open, in my opinion, open field. You are accessing your body wisdom about something that affects it, and it can be on any level of the being. Remember, I was trained as a chiropractor, so we were trained to focus on physical and chemical things. Emotional things were supposed to be the bailiwick of a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Spiritual things were supposed to be priests and ministers and, people like that. And I found out within, just a few weeks of practicing that when I asked bodies questions, they wanted to bring up all kinds of things, and I had to let go of the rule set that I was taught. And I had to just expand and explore all these different options that the bodies wanted to talk about. So it may come up on any level what it is that your body wants to know. And you'll have to learn how to formulate the questions in order to get the body's answer that it's trying to tell you. And in the meantime, make sure to use intuition. Make sure to listen to what's coming up inside of you, because that makes the process so much easier. When I learned how to muscle test, I was straight out of college, prerequisites, chiropractic school for 5 years. My brain was just left brain. I had no intuition at that point. I didn't think I was intuitive at all. And muscle testing was my left brain way of learning how to develop my intuition. So please listen to anything that comes up from inside you that is trying to guide you. And then if you want to use the muscle testing on top of that, you can clarify specific questions and answers with the muscle testing. Another question?
So if I want to find out if my body is reactive to say an additive or preservative, but I cannot isolate that out of a product, can I ask my body, am I sensitive to blah blah, without...
Yes, you can.
And if my body can respond, how does my body know when it doesn't even have anything to work with?
Because your body has a memory of everything that has ever come into its field of energy. It's chemical, anything that you have ever eaten, ever taken, ever drunk, ever put on your body has a memory of, whether you consciously have it or not. So your body knows. You could simply visualize in your mind, okay, there's that container of crystal light that I drink 10 times a day. And imagine that you have that container against your body, or that you have the drink made from that container and you are holding it. Your memory will tell you, your body memory will tell you whether that is helpful for you or not helpful for you. Okay? So it's all practice. Practice in learning how to do the muscle test, practice in how to ask the question, practice in visualizing the product if you don't have it here with you, practice in being clear and being present in your body, and it helps everything. Okay, can we hold questions? Let me go on with more information and maybe I'll answer those questions. If not, you can ask them later. Okay, we're going to switch over to a yes and a no. What we've been doing so far is a lock and an unlock. And without making it too confusing, I'm hoping, it really doesn't matter which is assigned as a yes or a no. I'm going to teach it the way that I learned it and teach it to you that way. But you may have some other practitioner who does it the reverse way. You may have learned to do it yourself the reverse way. It doesn't really matter. So just to give you an idea, if, like, I moved into a house recently that has a light switch at the bottom of the stairwell and a light switch at the top of the stairwell, and so now I can switch on the light at the bottom and see and walk up, and I can switch off the light at the top. Well, it's not so clear and easy, because then it means that the light switch is still on at the bottom even though the light is on, or is now turned off. So it's that type of thing. You can't go by old paradigms with this. You just are going to assign what the value of a yes is and what the value of a no is, and then stick by it. Okay? You're welcome to change it when you leave this class and learn it the other way for yourself. But again, I'm going to teach it one way, and then you can do what with it you want. So let's see. Could I have a person up here to demonstrate? Rachel, would you come? Thanks. The way that I learned was through chiropractic and through applied kinesiology. And with that, you have an intact muscle. And there it is. And then with that intact muscle, we would be touching different reflex points or joints or areas of the body. And if that intact muscle then unlocked, then that was a sign that, yes, there's a problem there. So I'm just going to try a few right here, okay? So there we go. Is it here, 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 right there? So right there is something that unlocks the muscle. I don't know what that is right now. We don't need to know, but something right there unlocks the muscle. So in applied kinesiology format, that translated out to me anyway as being a yes. Yes, there's a problem there. Yes, there's something we need to look at. Yes, there's something we need to explore. So again, this was my interpretation. They didn't do yeses and nos. They just did locks and unlocks, and they layered the locks and the unlocks on many times to find out what they needed to do. What I did, though, was to say, okay, that is signifying a yes. So to me, a yes is a yield. That, yes, there is something going on. So is there anything here? Anything here? Is there anything here? Anything here? Anything here? Okay, yes, there is something there. Okay? Thank you. All right, so if that yes is a yield, then you just need to begin to think of it as that when you're asking your questions, how do you pursue to find something that will then correct that? And you have the no in this case and the yes. Now, if we're going to talk about you doing this on yourselves, we're going to switch that over, and I'm going to teach you some ways of muscle testing yourself. One way that you can actually try to do, which I've only been doing, like I said, for about a month now, just for the fun of it, because basically every muscle will work, is to hold my arm out myself, and there's my locked arm, there's the lock. Okay, I'm going to swipe it down. Oops, sorry. And there's the yes. Swipe it back up, and there's the no. So that's one way that you can do it. We can also do a body lean. This is a little different than what we've been teaching before because it's not an obvious muscle, one muscle type of thing or one group of muscles. These are the standing muscles. So I'm going to demonstrate for you all the different ways. We're going to take another break, and then you're going to practice on yourselves how to muscle test yourselves. Okay? So in a body lean, we're going to be assigning the value of a yes as being a lean forward, that the body leans forward, telling you that it's, yes, this is something that it is, there is a problem there, or yes, this is something it wants, or yes, this is how many cups of the something that it wants there are, that this is the yes. And oppositely, if the body leans backwards, then this is a no. Now you can do this seated, you can do it standing, you can do it in any way that you want to do it. This is my favorite way of checking something. If I'm at a store and I want to determine is this something that would be helpful for me, then I take that product and I hold it against my belly button, and then I get centered and I ask my body, is this something that my body would like me to have? And I wait until my body decides what it's going to do. And so you'll have to practice that. with time. You'll learn how to do it, and you can also learn how to do it so it's not quite so obvious, so you're not falling down in the store. But what you want to be able to do is create the little lean forward and a little lean backward. And like I said, you can do it seated as well, so you can practice that as well. But the main thing about all of this is that you want to be in touch with your body. So if you are centered, comfortable, then you can get a response from the body as a yes or a no. Okay? She brought up temporal tap earlier. Temporal tap is wonderful for training the body to accept a new idea that it might not have had before. Temporal tap is, you can do it on both sides, but I'm just going profile. You find where your cheekbones are going up into your temple, and that's kind of your starting place. And you're going to tap up, over, and then this is a modified version, back under to make a circle. You're just going to make a simple circle around your ear. And while you are making that simple circle around your ear, this is a modified temporal tap, then you are going to be stating to your body the new idea that you want it to accept. So in other words, our ears are basically, they have filters on them that take in what they want and don't take in what they don't want. So the brain has a limitation. It may not want to take in a certain thought. So by doing this temporal tap, we are temporarily breaking through the filter and allowing a new idea to come in, or an affirmation to come in, which we'll use in the emotional part next class. So in this case, what you're going to be doing is to just affirm through the temporal tap that yes is a yield, yes is a lean forward, and then you would tap that in. Okay, yes, when my body leans forward, that is a yes. Okay, when my muscle, my arm moves down, in this case, this is a yes. If my body wants to tell me a no, then I do the temporal tap, I lean backwards and say, okay, body, this is a no. When my body leans backward on its own, this is going to be a no, but I have to teach it to do that. So I'm going to be doing this temporal tap to teach it. Okay, now I'm going to go on and show you some of the hand things. Hand muscle tests are great because it's not quite so big and obvious, but they're only great if you have good hands. So, for example, in one class I was teaching, and a construction worker was there and wanting to learn. And he had used his arms and wrists and forearms and hands so, let's say, not so well, that he had chronic injuries and chronic problems in here. And he thought his hands were perfectly strong, but he could not get reliable answers when he was doing hand muscle tests. So we had to rely on on the arm or on the body lean for him. So if you have, especially carpal tunnel, wrist problems, finger, thumb, arthritis, anything like that that is causing problems, you might not want to use the finger methods. You might want to just stick with the whole body lean or the arms. So there are many, 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 many ways of muscle testing with the hands. The two that I like the best, I'm going to teach you. One is where you create with your non-dominant hand, it doesn't have to be that, but that's just the way I do it, a ring, a circuit of either your third or your fourth finger and your thumb, whatever's comfortable for your hand. And it's as if you're pretending that there is a magnetic lock here, and that lock is locked or it is unlocked. Okay? When it is locked, then your other hand, finger, cannot pass through. So in this case, that is a no. There is no way to get through that. This is a no response. So again, you would tap that in, that this is a no response. And if you wanted to do a yes, then that lock unlocks and your finger passes through. And again, you teach this to your body because it's never had to do this type of thing before. So you're teaching it this new method that when my finger passes through, that is a yes in this case. Okay? No, you do not have to do the tap. It helps to clarify the communication to the brain of what it is that you are doing, but you do not have to do it. And you only have to do it, if you choose to do it, at the beginning when you are first teaching your body to do this new method. After that, it knows, and it's only if you're getting unclear results that you might go back and tap it in again. Okay? Well, I used to do this all the time, and then when my son was born 20-some years ago by now, 26 years ago, I couldn't hold him and do my muscle testing at the same time. And sitting and nursing for a long time, or holding him when he was needing to be held, was such that I had a lot of time on my hands, and I wanted to make use of that time, and I couldn't do my muscle testing while I was holding him. So I had to come up with a one-handed way. Finger flick is, for me, an easy way. Any finger, whatever works for your hand, dominant, non-dominant, whatever feels comfortable to you. There's so much confusion about what is dominant and non-dominant in these days when people have been trained to be right-handed, even if they're naturally left-handed. So I don't usually worry about dominant, non-dominant. Just find a finger position that's comfortable. And again, the idea that this is a lock, that you're you push, you send an impulse out from your index finger or whichever finger, and if it doesn't move, that's a no response. So this is a no response. And you can tap that in. And alternately, if that magnetic lock unlocks, it allows your finger to flick. This is a yes response. And you can tap that in. Okay. So these are just different ways that you can practice how to talk to your body. You can do the exact same things that we did before. So here's my lock, and then I pull on my hair and check whether it unlocks or not. And it takes practice. Okay, so you may get an instant result and you may not. Everybody is literally different in how quickly they pick up these different things. Try all the different means. Try, holding the hair and doing the lean forward or back. Do the same thing that you, stroke downwards against the flow. So, okay, here's my lock in this position. And stroke down against the normal flow of the central vessel. And for me, it unlocks. Stroke back up and lock. And you have to get accustomed to it. So, give yourself some time. They say that to really learn how to muscle test, it takes about a year. Some people get it in 3 hours. Some people get it in 5 years. It really is an individual thing depending on how much you practice, how open you are to it, how often you try it, all that kind of thing. So you're going to practice all those different things. You can also begin asking with the yes and the no. So if I have, again, these substances, for an example, hold it against my belly button, and then I'm going to ask, is this something that my body wants? Okay, so that's a no. Is this something that my body wants? No, even though it's water. So we're asking right here and now. Any muscle test that you do is about this moment. You can project out to the future, but right here and now is what you're testing. So if you are just off of an argument with somebody, or you have just come in from rushing around buying things at the grocery store or whatever, and you are still scattered and unfocused, you may not get clear results. That doesn't mean that you should follow, change everything that you just got and follow that. You should just wait until you are clear and centered, and then ask the questions that you want. And when you begin asking questions, it's usually a good idea just to keep it like for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that until you feel more comfortable with what you're doing. And don't overdo the muscles. You might get sore. Your forearm muscles and hands might get sore. You might feel like, what question do I ask now? So when we're going to take a break and start practicing this, I'd like you to check some things. So let me give you an example. Here's my finger flick, and I'm just going to keep my steady pressure on that. So, okay, let's see. I'm going to touch my shoulder, touch my lung, my other lung, my shoulder, my liver, my spleen, my pancreas, my right ovary, my left ovary, my left ovary. Okay, so something's coming up about my left ovary. My bladder, my uterus. You know, you can just name them. Even if you don't have specifically touched the areas, you can just name something about my head, something about my neck, something about my chest, something about my abdomen, something about my pelvis. Okay, so my pelvis comes up again. So start searching your body to see, is there something I need to know about? Oh yes, okay. So, okay, it has to do with my left ovary. Is this something that I need to look at physically? No. Is this something I need to look at chemically? Yes, okay. Is it about foods? Is it about drinks? Is it about supplements? Supplements, okay. So then I would, for me, years and years of practice, but you get the idea. All right, so for my left ovary, supplements, is there something I have at home that would be helpful? Yes, okay. Is it in the cabinet where I normally use my daily supplements? No. Okay, is it in the cabinet where I have my extra supplements that I'm not currently taking? Yes, okay. So I have to shelve it now because I'm not at my cabinet to go into that extra bag of supplements to find out what it is that my left ovary needs. But you get the idea of how you can ask questions on a chemical level. So you can ask for something that is helpful. You can find out if something is not helpful for you and if it is actually harmful for you. You can go into any amount of detail. Those of you who have come to me in a session know that I ask frequently about on a scale of 1 to 10. If 10 is perfectly healthy and perfectly functioning, where is this issue? Left ovary, is this, if 10 is perfectly functioning, is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay. So it's not a major issue. You can also ask, instead of scale of 1 to 10, is it major, is it moderate, is it minor, is it minimal? Minimal, okay. So you'll learn how to ask questions so that you can then be guided through this communication with your body. We just addressed a little bit of background on chemical things, but you can talk specifically about foods. You know, which foods are helpful for me? What food would be good for me to eat for dinner tonight? What food is helpful and appropriate as a bedtime snack versus what is not helpful and appropriate for me? You know, so you have to verbalize and ask the question clearly to get the answer that your body wants to tell you. You can ask about all the drinks that you drink. You can ask about the hair products that you use, the skin products that you use. There's no end to the amount of questions you could ask depending on how interested you are in finding out these answers. You can also use it for lifestyle activities today, right now, from now on, over this next couple weeks until we do part 2, if you come for that. Lifestyle activities. Am I getting sufficient exercise? No. Okay. Do I need to be doing more aerobic exercise? Yes. Okay. Do I need to get back into running? No. Is walking appropriate? Yes. Would biking be helpful? No. Would dancing be helpful? Yes. Okay. Of walking and dancing, does my body have a preference? Yes. Is it walking? Is it dancing? Dancing. Okay, great. I don't mind that. I'd be glad to dance. And so you just think about how to set up your life in a way that your body really is being aided by your life and your choices in life. Physically, you can be using this to identify structural treatments that you could do for yourself so that your practitioners don't have to do as much work, like I was talking about earlier in my practice. If you have a knee problem or a shoulder problem, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to use my clavicle for whatever reason because it affects my shoulder and sometimes it pops. Okay, is there a major issue, moderate, minor, minimal? Minimal issue with my clavicle. Okay, that's my collarbone. All right, so what would be helpful for my collarbone? Would it be helpful for me to do any massage for it? No. Any exercise? Yes. Strengthening my pectoral muscles? No. Strengthening my shoulder muscles? No. Strengthening my scapular muscles? Yes. Okay. So apparently by me holding my shoulder blades in a better position, then my clavicle is happier. Okay, but again, it could have come up, okay, yes, you want to massage here or a massage there in this direction or that direction, or do reflexes on your feet for the shoulder blades and the clavicle, or do reflexes on your hands. Trust that you, with all the life experience you have up to this point, have all the answers that you need to help your body to heal. You don't need to have gone to chiropractic or medical school. You don't need to be a working nurse. You don't need to be a PT or a craniosacral therapist. All you need to do is know what you do in your life and know what you've learned in your life and apply what you know how to do to your own body. If you happen to love the smell of essential oils, then you could ask, would it be helpful to apply an essential oil to my collarbone? Would it be helpful to apply it to the feet reflexes for my shoulder girdle? Yes. Okay. So then you know, if you know foot reflexology, then you apply the essential oil to the foot reflexes for the shoulder girdle on the right side. If you happen to love music, is there a particular piece of music that would help my body to heal in this area? Yes. Okay. Then you find out what piece of music it is that is soothing to you and healing to you, versus the ones that just annoy the crap out of you. Don't listen to them. Do listen to the ones that you like. It can be anything. So whatever it is that you have in your life experience, that's what you want to turn to help answer the questions, to treat the issues, to help yourself to heal. Okay, so let's take another break, and you will begin practicing how to muscle test yourself with physical or chemical or lifestyle topics. But first, just make sure you have a clear no and a clear yes based on the lock and the unlock, and that you are able to communicate with your own self. All right, good luck. Here we are, back again. How did that go? Were you getting some responses for yourself? All right, good. So there were a couple of questions that came up again, and I'm going to deal with those, and then we have a little more information and another practice session, and then we'll be wrapping it up and be done. So let's see, questions. If you're not getting clear answers, or if you're getting one answer one moment and then you ask the same question 5 minutes later and you get a different answer, then you obviously still need to be clearing your own self to prepare yourself to be able to ask the questions. One thing that I tend to do, and you can see how you feel with this, is to ask myself, may I have a clear no, may I have a clear yes, am I speaking with my whole self? If I'm not speaking with my whole self, am I speaking with my whole self and I get a no? Then I say, okay, well, I need to be my whole self in order to be able to get this information correct. So would it be helpful for me to hold some water in my mouth? Would it be helpful for me to wake up a certain part of my body? Okay. One part of the body that often gets kind of sluggish is our backs of our thighs. And if we've been sitting too long in our life, the backs of our thighs kind of get sluggish, and you can literally just sit there, stand there, and stimulate them, briskly rub them. And that kind of wakes up your body and wakes up the flow of energy throughout your whole being so that you are accessing your whole self. You can do any of those clearing techniques we talked about earlier with the belly button and the governing vessel and central vessel, and the belly button and the K27, and the belly button and the back of the sacrum coccyx. You can also sing a song that you like. You can stand up and do some movement, just to get your body into the whole body head, arms, legs, torso. Okay? So then you finish doing that, you sit back down or you stand and do your body lean. Okay, may I have a clear no, may I have a clear yes. Am I speaking with my whole self? And hopefully this time you are. And then you go on and you ask your questions. In the beginning, like I said, you might want to just keep it short. 5 questions, 5 minutes, whatever arbitrary time length you want. Don't keep going and going and going if you're getting confusing questions, because you're just going to frustrate yourself and say, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Okay? So if you're not getting clear information, stop, let it go do some other things, come back when you're feeling a little calmer and more ready to address whatever the topic is, and try it again. Let's see, what else? The art of asking questions. You're just going to learn, what is appropriate to talk about right then and there. When I first began to muscle test myself, I would go on and on and on for hours. And, was asking about, the sun's effects on my body and the planet and what was going to happen in 30 years. And, I was going way out there. And I found out that a lot of that information, while fascinating, was totally impractical and irrelevant. And so really try to keep, your body likes to be practical. Your body likes to have something going on that is about right here and right now and right in this day of my life and in this week of my life and maybe in this month of my life. But don't project too far out, because it's not pertinent. And your body either may not care or may not know too much about that future, because there's many future realities that could coalesce into being the reality that happens. So try to keep it in the here and now. If you feel like you are really comfortable with it, then you can begin to muscle test yourself and ask about somebody else. In the meantime, don't do it. Just ask about your own body, because this is your body wisdom that is wanting to talk to you. So live, learn, be patient, and when you're ready, then you'll know that it's okay for me to ask about this person, or this animal, or this plant in my house that's dying, or whatever it is. You really want to make sure that this is about your communication with yourself first. And once you feel comfortable with your communication with yourself, extend it out into your communication about yourself in your world. And don't take it too much further than that until you know that you really are getting clear and accurate information. Okay? Something else, what was it? Okay, we're just going to go on. There are basically any number of topics that you can address beyond yourself. But in this class, as I said, we're really talking about your physical body, your chemical body, and your lifestyle. So keep it simple on that level, at least for the next couple of weeks. And if you wanted to come and learn further about the emotional body, the spiritual body, and the mental body, then we'll do that on that November 3rd class. But in the meantime, keep it local. One way to help yourself be more clear is to think about this vast universe out there being filled with information, and this vast body in here also being filled with information. And so I tend to think of all the places that we could access as being this radio receiver that you can tune just like you do on your normal radio, AM or FM channel, and then you can have from 800 or whatever it is up till 1200 or 1400. You can address all of those different channels, and along that radio receiver tuner are many, 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 many channels that you could access. Right now we're just focusing on your body wisdom channel and your personal guidance channel. This is an obvious image. It's not a reality, but it creates reality if you use your imagination. So you can tune your channel of your radio to my body receiver, my body wisdom. And then you focus in and ask, okay, body, what is it that I want to know? How can I clear? What do I need to be doing next? You can ask about a body area, all the things we went through. That's your body wisdom that you're gathering information from. And the information is internal inside of you. If you change the channel a little bit, you get to your personal guidance channel. And your personal guidance is, again, based in your body wisdom, but it's got an expanded view that it's not just this physical form, it's also the relationships of the family around you. It's about your work site, it's about your car that you drive, it's about the clothing and the shoes that you wear, it's about your practices and habits of sleep and relaxation, of creativity, of music, of laughter. You know, there's many, 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 many things. And that personal guidance channel gives you that broader perspective. So if you know that you want to make some travel plans, that you're hoping to go somewhere for Christmas and see your family or whatever, then you could tune to that imaginary personal guidance channel and then say, okay, may I have a clear no and a clear yes? Is it appropriate for me to ask about future travel plans for Christmas? If you get a no, don't pursue it. If you get a yes, then you pursue it. Okay, so we could be driving there or we could be flying there. Would it be good for us to drive? Would it be good for us to fly? Okay, fly. If we're going to avoid all the hassles of the airport, when would be a good day to fly? When would be a good day to fly back? And you look at the calendar and you see what the options are. Would it be better to go on the Monday, the whatever date of December? Would it be better to go on Tuesday? Would it be better to go on Wednesday? And you get specific details that your body and your expanded personal guidance field can access about when is the best time, easiest time, safest time for you to do those travel plans. So you can use this in many, many ways just with those two channels. And I hope that you will practice those. We're going to talk a little bit more and then you're going to get another 10 minutes or so to practice. Before we go on to that, were there any other questions that came up that you wanted to address that I didn't address earlier? Yes?
If you've not, like when you were asking about preservatives, if you in your conscious mind haven't heard of a certain preservative, does your body still know if you should?
It may not know it by name. If your body, in case they couldn't hear that, the preservatives, he's asking if you don't know the specific preservative, will your body know whether it is a good thing or not a good thing? The name of it, your body may not know about. If you have it identified by a product that you have eaten or ingested in some way, your body will know if that product is preserved in a way that your body liked or didn't like. So you can ask it from that broader perspective. Okay? So it's only if you're a chemistry buff and you've actually read all these labels and you know what name and which one it is, that then your body will know because it will have used your brain-body connection to identify that, oh, this preservative is in this product and my body doesn't like that. Okay? Yes?
I've been accused of muscle testing from my head and not my heart.
Okay. That's,
I don't know.
okay, muscle testing from her head rather than from her heart. A very common problem, and that's because most of us tend to spend our time up in our heads. So again, when you are asking about, may I have a clear no and a clear yes, you want to drop your focus of attention down out of your head into your body. One way that I find is a really good way to do that is to imagine that there is an elevator. And there's a miniature me in the elevator, and right up here, it's up in here. And the elevator goes down through the neck, goes down into the chest, and into the heart, or it can go down if you're asking about food issues or something. You should probably even take it further down into your abdomen. And then you let the door open, and your little you steps out. And now your focus of attention is down in here. And then you say, okay, digestive tract, can we ask a clear no and a clear yes? Can we get information about this food? Okay? So really try to be in the body part that you are asking about as much as you can, or at least be down in your body and not just up here. That's like when I said when I was first starting out and I was asking about everything under the sun and beyond the galaxy and beyond that, that was really head stuff and beyond my head. And I needed to bring it down into my body to make it a practical, real question that my body had information about. Any other questions before we go on? Okay. So, what I would like you to do is to tune your radio to your body wisdom and ask a few questions of your body wisdom. Then just say, okay, that's enough. I understand how we're going to do this. And then tune your radio in your mind's eye to your personal guidance channel and ask about something bigger than your body that affects your body. Sleep, work, relationship, whatever. Something easy, something not hugely challenging, okay? And I'll give you about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes for that, and then we'll come back for a final gathering and a closing. All right then. Another practice session done. It looks like you were all very quiet and intent on your questions and answers. That's excellent. Very nice energy in the room during that time. So there were a few things that I wanted to bring up in response to questions that were asked. One was whether this is the same, better, worse, different than dowsing by pendulum. As far as I'm concerned, it's the exact same thing. It's just a different manner of asking for a yes and a no. So if you are used to using a pendulum, feel free to continue to do that, or use this one as an alternate. They're similar. If you don't have your pendulum with you, then you always have your fingers with you. So for me, using the muscle testing was much easier than using a pendulum because I always had my fingers with me, and because it was faster for me than waiting for the pendulum to calm down, saying a yes or a no, or whichever way it said yes or no. And my fingers were always right there and gave me quicker results. So if I was in a hurry and yet centered, I could still get one question after another, after another, after another, and have them be responded to much in a shorter length of time. The second thing is about asking questions. You really need to start, you probably have already found this out, start asking your body questions that are simple and short. If you ask too convoluted of a question, your body's going to say, you lost me. I have no idea what your real question is. So keep it simple and short, as if you are talking to no disrespect to the body intended, as if you are talking to a 2-year-old and you want to make sure that this is the information we're putting on our coats, we're leaving, okay? So same thing with your body. This is my question. How do I take this? Is it best to take it in a tincture? Is it best to take it in a pill? And you ask the question, you get the answer. You ask the next question, you get that answer. You ask the next question, you get that answer. So no run-on questions. It's all very one by one by one. You had a question there?
And it's probably, I don't need to say this, but to address it not in a way of qualified, like should I do this or shouldn't I do this? That terminology is probably just out.
Best to avoid the shoulds,
Yeah.
just because they have all this guilt associated with them.
Right.
So yes, is it helpful for me to do this? Would my body like me to do this? Find ways of questioning it so it's not always shoulds or something that makes you feel like you do something wrong if you don't follow it. Mm-hmm. Okay. In terms of doing something wrong if you don't follow it, the body is learning to communicate with you in this method as well. And so the body will give you suggestions. It's best to follow those suggestions. If you find in following those suggestions that something doesn't feel right, you've got a gut sense that something's not right about this, trust your intuition, trust that gut sense. You may not have been clear when you got the answers. You might have been, but if you were right and clear in getting those answers, then I don't think you would have that gut sense that something's not correct with this. So really listen to both. Listen to the muscle test response, see how it feels, try it out, And then see, how does your body respond? How does your intuition respond? How do you feel as you've been actually putting it into place? There's also such a thing called gossip with bodies. If you start asking your body all kinds of questions and you don't follow through with it and you don't do anything with it, then your body's going to start feeling like, why should I tell her what she asked? She's not following it. It's a waste of my time. You know, bodies really want to be heard, just like our partners, our sons, our children, our parents. They want to be heard, and if you're not listening, even though you're claiming that you're asking for information, then they're going to get annoyed. So do your best to listen, to pay attention, to follow through, and then try some other things. Listen, pay attention, follow through. Listen, pay attention, follow through. Another thing that I found for myself is that posture makes a difference. If I am slumped in on myself, if I'm tired and I can't even, hold my head up, then don't ask questions, or else lie down. Get comfortable, and then ask your questions. It's perfectly legitimate to do this lying down. One of my favorite things to do before I go to sleep at night is to talk to my body and to my personal guides and beyond that, and gather whatever information I need to know. And the one-handed has been a great thing because I can just lie there and be totally peaceful and relaxed, and my little hand is down here asking about the no and the yes. So learn different positions to do it in, but think about your posture as being important, because if you're all kinked up in some strange position or slouched in on yourself, the energy is not going to be flowing right, and if the energy of the nervous system isn't flowing correctly, then you're going to get more inaccurate answers. Okay. Let's see. Specificity. The more specific you can be, the better. If you just ask, coffee, is this something my body likes or doesn't like, then you're probably going to get a yes or a no answer, because that's what you're asking. If you picture a specific cup of coffee that you had that morning or last week or wherever, your body will have a clearer image of what it was. How did it affect you? If you are going to buy a chocolate bar and you're wanting to eat some of that chocolate bar, you might want to check all the different companies of chocolate bars. It really makes a difference what quality the chocolate is, or whatever the item is. I'm not specifying just chocolate and coffee. This is all items. The quality makes a huge difference. I will routinely go to different stores to find different produce because this particular store seems to have better quality broccoli than that one does. Or this one has, more variations of the soy products that I like than others. And so my body has led me to realize how I need to specifically shop for the nutrition that my body needs. You can also, with that chocolate bar that you find out is actually okay for your body, hallelujah, if that's the case for you, then you can ask, how much is appropriate for me? Is it one of these squares? Is it 3 of these squares? Is it the entire bar? Learn how to moderate the unconscious consumption that we tend to get into, especially if there is a TV or a computer in front of us. People tend to just mindlessly put the food into their mouth until the bag is empty or the product is gone. And so really plan ahead and think about, okay, I want to watch a movie tonight, I want to have a snack. What's the best way for my body to be able to have that snack and be able to get through? So be specific. One last thing, what was it? Thank yous to your own body. This is a new process. It's like learning how to ride a bike. At the beginning, you may fall off. Luckily, you won't fall and scuff your knees the way you would if you were literally learning how to ride a bike. So what if you get some inaccurate information, or something doesn't make sense, or you get frustrated? No big deal. Try it again another time, see how you feel. Because again, just like bike riding, once you've learned how to do this, you'll be able to do it for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a great tool and a lot of fun for you. So thank your body, be appreciative of whatever information comes. Don't get mad at it because it told you that you're not supposed to do X, Y, or Z. Say, well, thanks for the information. I'll do what I can to work on it. And like I said, in the next workshop, we're going to talk about emotional, mental, and spiritual issues. And it could be that you'll learn some techniques to clear out an emotional reaction or a mental block against doing something particular that your body is requesting of you. So there's always ways to be able to implement what your body is asking for. You just may need to learn more as you're going along to cooperate and communicate with your body better. All right. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate everybody listening and being patient. It's been a long class. 3 hours is a long time to be learning something and practicing something new. So have fun, enjoy it in small doses, and let me know how it goes. Thank you.